Okay guys, so let's follow along here. You should have opened your Ready recipe series for Flappy Bird. So you should see this. And we've reviewed the game objective, and you've gotten a sense through my little game moment of what it's going to look like when you're done. So let's dive into the recipe, and we're going to be building this game together. The way to do this, I recommend, is I will show you the recipe using the slide. You'll then pause the video and you'll go ahead and work on the scene directly in Ready. When you feel you've gotten through that point in the recipe, you'll go back to the video and then I'll show you how to do it directly in Ready. So try not to skip ahead and see what I'm doing. It's always better if you work to build on your own and then look at how I did it. So with that in mind, this is what you'll need. We went through that. You're going to need Ready, obviously. You've obviously got that up and running as of now, and you have this slide presentation that I'm currently walking through. So that brings us to the first piece, which is what we're going to need in our game. You're going to put 3 obstacles into the game, and you can see them here, 1, 2, 3. I've kind of showing you a final version. My recommendation is, and we'll go through this in a moment, is you're going to be adding them as basic shapes, and then later you can swap the artwork to have something more visually interesting like what I have here. You need a line to track when the player passes past these obstacles, right? This line is actually going to be the counting mechanism to know that you got past them successfully. You'll need these 3 spawn points to generate these obstacles, and these spawn points will be moved off screen eventually, so you won't even see them. The user won't know that they exist. You'll need your Flappy Bird, that's you, the player. You'll need a score label to track how many pillars or blockers you've flown past successfully. That's what's going to count, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And then for now, we're doing an easier version of Flappy Bird where we'll actually have a button. Tap to flap that button. You'll notice the one I showed you, I had dismissed that button. At the very end of this little recipe, we'll show you for bonus points how to get rid of the button. But for the purpose of this recipe, we'll start with a button. Makes life a little easier. So those are the things you're going to be putting into the scene. And let's go ahead and we're going to do the first thing, which is adding your obstacles. So the recommendation is to add a rectangle to stand in. I'm calling them pillars, basically, to stand in for one of the pillars. So you'll want to go into the plus sign here, into basic shapes. Look for rectangle, drag that onto the scene, and then you're going to want to rename it. My recommendation is call this pillar 1. We're going to have 3 pillars eventually, so pillar 1 is the first. Set solid to be off so that it's not solid, as you can see here. Down below, there's a collider type below here. You'll want to set that to box instead of polygon. And we can talk about that later, why that's important. Tint this pillar red for now to distinguish it from the other ones. And then you're going to add a bullet behavior to this object. And the bullet behavior, yes, if you remember, the pillars kind of seem to move from right to left across the screen. That bullet behavior is what's going to make those obstacles move, right? So advice here, set it to 1 meter per second. And when you point the bullet, you can choose which direction it goes, from 0 to 360 degrees. Have it go 180 degrees, which effectively means to my left. So go ahead and do all that. Obviously press play at some point to make sure your rectangle is moving across the scene. So go ahead and do that, and then let's regroup on the other side of you successfully achieving this initial goal.